so shiny.
Like, they're like, I've never seen a dragon. I've heard of you.
I never knew she sparkled.
But I've never seen you. What is it you want to know?
We want to know where my people's artifacts went.
Yes, the artifact that is specifically named. What was it named?
I don't know which artifacts they are.
We don't know the name.
No, it's Araxi's artifacts.
But it's around. It was the museum one.
There's no need for violence. We have not these artifacts.
Oh.
We were robbed by the Knucklebone boys last night. But we did have 2 dragonbone pieces that we were planning to sell in a lot tomorrow. One was a great club, carved from dragonbone with scrimshaw engraving, and the other a ring. And like when he says that, you have like a memory of like your mother's back with this huge dragonbone great club like strapped to it with scrimshaw carvings like going down the handle of the club, and then the memory is fleetingly gone. Yeah. Rumor has it that they use a foundry that they own, and some of them work it during the day. At night it becomes one of their sort of fence points for things.
What is a foundry?
A foundry is where they make metal out of hot things. I'm not real sure either, he says.
Okay. Glad we're in the same boat.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, you guys have a moment.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't really know. He's like, 3 Knucklebone boys are playing knucklebones against the wall of this foundry, sort of pretending to just be like at play, but clearly they are keeping watch for people who approach. You, a 6'2" gigantic old man covered in scar tissue with a giant shield and blade on your back, stroll out of the alleyway at them. And behind you, a 6'8" golden dragon woman with a gigantic club over her shoulder, right? Stride towards them. They're playing knucklebones, they look, they see you, and they, why don't you roll initiative just for yourselves? There's no combat yet, but who would like to go first? Let's see who acts first.
I did 17. a 15.
Plus your
Plus 1, that's 16.
I did 17.
17. What would you like to do first, Kaedra? These fools are rolling knucklebones, and you hear the voice of your dragon godmother who is now slain. Yeah. Find them, they are inside, they have taken what belongs to us. Yeah, you hear that inside you. You see the doors, they're by the doors. What do you do?
Well, hearing my great godmother dragon call to me, it fills me with rage. So I will go and rage and bust through those doors.
yes.
Be like, where are my people's?
You are a 6'8" dragon woman. So you stride forward and you like boot the center of the 2 doors. They fly off their hinges inside and immediately crush the spine of a knucklebone boy who is standing on the other side. He's on the other side, literally like filing down one of his hangnails. And he's smashed by the back of one of these. His spine snaps. He folds in half around the door and he flies into the center of this room. These doors have smashed off. There is a sad, broken knucklebone boy here, bent backwards on himself. You smash the doors off the hinges, this poor soul in your way. There's still 2 outside, though I don't know that they're gonna involve themselves.
Forget about them. You said the 2 guys on the stage are just looking out, or were they like messing with some stuff?
They're arguing with each other.
Right.
But right away, I'll tell you this. I'm gonna say you charged, right?
Right.
So you like smash through the doors. You're kind of like over here now. You feel the pull of like your family's relics from this direction.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
I head that direction then.
So you look and like, there's the big crate with all the items in it, and the guy with the throwing knives has actually wandered forward before all this chaos erupted, and he lifted your mother's club out of the crate. And he's like, this looks nice. I might keep this. Yeah, you see that on his face. This human with these, you know why? He has a bandolier of throwing knives across his chest. They all have human bone handles. So he sees this like dragon bone club and he's like, ooh, my fetish. And he like pulls it from the thing.
I would like to charge up to him and give him a good stern talking to.
With fists.
With fists, exactly.
You're gonna hit.
3 plus 4, 7 plus 2, 9.
9.
Damage.
Excellent. So you come charging up. He has the club. He's quite spry. He's a good fighter. He's a knife fighter. He knows what he's doing. But he is just not ready for a 6'8" dragon-born woman
I can
to
also
try to...
attack a second time, I
You
realized.
do?
Yes.
Yeah, you take the attack action.
Yes.
Do it!
I'm gonna do it! Let's go, 16 again, plus 2, 18.
Oh, this poor man.
Oh no, 2 plus 4, 6, 8.
8. That's
17.
That's 17's pretty hefty. So he's sitting there, he's holding the club. He turns as you come in, and he uses his uncanny dodge on the first attack, if that makes sense. He takes half damage. He is a rogue, so he may at the last second. And thank God he does, because he's about to have his brain splattered all over the rest of the items. But he manages to duck to the side. Instead, he mostly has this shoulder dislocated by that mighty strike. He's like, ah! And he's slammed into that table in front of him, and then you literally just hammer him while he's on the table with the second one. He is alive and still up fighting, but he is badly hurt. In fact, you slammed him down. All he managed to do was roll over onto his back, and then you hit him across the chest for the second one. He's like, oh! God, I love this game. This horrible man, because you don't know him at all, but he's a bad person, yeah? You just smashed him and almost dislocated his shoulder, and then you railed on him, like with your club. He's lying there like, he's hurt, but he's still absolutely functional. And you say, how dare you touch my mother's club? And he looks at you, looks at the club, and throws it towards the molten steel. Why attack when you can do much worse? Just out of spite, he throws it. Cap, he throws it towards the molten steel. Ooh, with a natural 20, he throws it.
No!
Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. I need like my pen with a club. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. I'll make it like bone white in the steel. There, it lands. It's not completely in because I'm kind. He nat 20, it should be incinerated. But I'm a nice man.
Thank you.
Instead, it slides across the floor, and like the business end tip of it dips into the molten steel, and it's about to like slide in, if that makes sense.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. This is a great game. I don't have to attack her. I probably would miss.
Yeah.
Is there anything particular you would like to do?
Can I communicate something without taking my turn?
Correct. You can absolutely gesture, communicate simple things
Right.
easily. Yeah.
So I yell to everybody, and I'm like, I used my gem of seeing and saw this weird coffin thing, you guys. You just escalated the situation real fast. Like, we bust through the door and fighting happened, but there's a coffin. Do I know? I search my brain for if I know about the coffin and these scratchy sounds.
Weirdly, you do. Yeah, weirdly, you do.
Okay, all right. Can I touch the coffin? I can touch the coffin. I can pick up the coffin.
You're strong enough to pick up that coffin.
I pick up the coffin and I want to throw it into the molten thing, which will solidify, much like when Rhino walks into the wet cement and Spider-Man lures him inside. I'm that kind of nerd. So I seek to lift that up. And I go, with great power comes great responsibility. And I go over and I try to throw it into the 3-minute it's always the fun. The fun one. Okay, and I want to throw it into the thing, what is it?
It's like a slag pool of molten metal.
The slag pool of molten metal. Is what
So you step up, and like, no one else can see the coffin, I want to point out. So what everyone else sees, struggling with air. Grandfather King comes out and goes, "Ah! Ah!" And you're all like, what is going on? But you succeed mightily in hurling the coffin into the slag pit. Odd or even?
Oh no.
Odd or even?
Yeah.
I don't know. Odd?
So you throw it into the center of the slag pit because I'm a kind man, yeah? It splashes, and the giant splash actually pushes your mother's club out. Back onto the floor.
Thank you, Grandpa.
Because at the top of the
Kane.
initiative, it was going to sink in completely, if that makes sense.
Okay.
But it pushes it out.
I chose
as it
odd.
goes in.
Thank you, Grandpa Kane. Thank you.
Welcome.
You're welcome for that. Excellent. And we are at the top of the round with Kai Song. Yeah, Kai Song, what would you like to do?
I am going to try. I originally planned this when I thought that the club was still teetering, but I was going to burn my turn and Step of the Wind to grab it out of the slag's way.
The coffin hits the molten metal. And retcon. The club turns upright and begins to sink into the steel and burn. Because that's awesomer. Instead of going for these monks, Kai Song uses every bit of agility he's trained for over his many decades of mastering his father's martial art. He hand plants over the railing, sailing through the air, multiple sort of like twists and flips as he goes, hits the ground, flies, slides, grabs the club out of the molten metal, rolls, And we'll say one of these molds here is filled with water. To cool the metal. So you actually roll and instantly douse it in one of the mold pits. And like sizzling smoke comes off as you do so. And that's
Can I use because I haven't technically used it. Can I use an action to toss it to Kaedra?
Yeah.
Because I'm assuming she's the only golden dragon that anyone has ever seen, so I'm just going to automatically assume that it's that dragon girl that I saved.
You throw it and then have that thought after. Does that make sense? You throw it and you're like, geez, I really hope that's hers. Do you say Kaedra?
Yes.
Oh, you hear him say Kaedra, and he throws the club to you. And you're like, how does this old half-elf know me? Because you don't remember him. Roll, give me like an intelligence check to see if it jogs anything.
5.
How strange that he knows your name.
Yeah.
Has he been following you?
I don't know.
It sails through the air and you catch it. Yeah. You don't have to roll to catch it. You're like a hero of legend. It's not like, I don't like games where it's like, I catch with a weapon. I don't know, you're a 5th level barbarian, you might screw that up. Like, you catch it out of the air, but here's what you do notice when you catch it out of the air. It's carved with scrimshaw. And it's clearly abundantly clear to you immediately that this is like your matrilineal story. It's like the story of like, your tribe was matriarchal. Like all the great warriors and leaders were female dragonborns. And you see it's your mother's like lineage story back to the beginning. Like it begins like, the beginning is like the mouth of Araxis, like breathing out like the first female dragonborn, if that makes sense. It was a half dragon back then actually, right? And then it becomes dragonborn warriors as it goes around the circle of the club. And you can tell by the vague fragments of memory that the last thing you can see on the handle of the club is your mother's story. You almost recognize her in the scrimshaw. And she's wreathed in flame, like not only able to breathe fire, but she's wreathed in fire, like holding this club in the image. And then where that ends is where the molten metal burned everything. Where your story is supposed to begin is destroyed. Dark. Took a turn. You thought we were having fun. We're gonna have some storytelling too, though. It's gonna hurt. Right? Great.